Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Canon EOS photographer Randall and Rueff, and today we're here to talk about and discuss the differences between lenses with different apertures and the same focal length. Prime example: 300 millimeters on the left, 300 millimeters on the right. And as you can see from here, the one on the left costs $72.99, and the one on the right costs $14.99. So you're saying to yourself, I know what if you don't know the difference between an f2.8 and an f4, you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, why would somebody pay that much more when they can save that much less on the right one? Why buy the one on the left when you get the one for the right for so much less? In fact, you can buy several of the one on the right for the same price, or for approximately, several of them for the price of the one on the left. So why would I ever spend the amount that they want for the one on the left? Now, that's very simple, and that is your aperture or f-stop. Now, for those of you who can shell out the money for the one on the left, I would seriously consider doing so if you're a professional. If you're not a professional, I'm sure the one on the right will be more than sufficient. Here's the difference, though, besides price. An f2.8 has a bigger opening. The 2.8 is a bigger opening than the 4. But when they came up with apertures, to me, a smaller number should be a smaller opening, a bigger number should be, but that's not how it works. So a 2.8 is a bigger opening than an f4. Now what this does, aside from making it harder to manufacture, which is one of the reasons it costs more, is if you're focusing on a subject, it blurs out the background, which a lot of professionals want. Especially if you're doing wildlife or sports. If you're doing wildlife or sports, what you want to do is focus in on that bird, or that alligator, or that lion, or that dog, or that cat, or whatever it is, and then you want the background, especially if it's outside, to be blurred out. Focus in front, blurred in the background. And an aperture like 2.8 goes a long way to helping you do that without any extra stuff. Now, with an f4, obviously your background's not going to be blown out as much, anywhere near as much as the 2.8. Now, can you still blow out the background? Yes, but it takes more. It has to do with focusing, and in the end, it's not going to be as good as the 2.8 by a long shot. So, again, this 300 with the 2.8 is a professional high-end lens. They're both good lenses, but this is like state-of-the-art. Boom, baby! I'm a professional. I'm going to be using it for for professional needs and uses. So. It really does a good job blurring out that background, making the whatever your animal or sports is, getting that soccer ball kick or the basketball shot or the guy throwing a football, whatever it happens to be, whatever's in front is going to be in real sharp, tight focus, and the background's going to be blurred out. Whereas with the 14.9, yeah, you can do that, but it's just not going to be as good. Okay, the quality of the blurred out background isn't going to be as good. And if you take the same picture side by side, you'll see what I'm talking about if you have the two different lenses. So, and another thing to think about is the fact that a lot of people, just the average photographer, if you're taking pictures of your kids or just whatever, and you want to take something far away, maybe blurring out the background. You don't have to have that professional photograph. You just want that photograph that looks good and nice. If your kid's doing whatever or whoever's doing what. Something where they're at a distance and you don't want to have to spend $200 for a lens that you may or may not use all the time. So the one on the right is a better alternative because it's cheaper. You're not going to be using it all the time. Just occasionally when the kids are playing some sports or something, that might be the lens for you. Again, it just depends on your usage, your budget. The budget for me is pretty much everything. If I had a choice, if money was no object, obviously I'm going to go for the 2.8. Okay, the one on the left, the 2.8, hands down. But money is a factor, obviously. And, that's where the professionals are. That's where they want to go. If you're not a professional or don't need that professional blur out background again, or it's not as important as getting something far away, then the cheaper lens may be the way you want to go. Again, they're both Canon lenses and they're both good lenses. I'm not knocking either one of them, obviously. But it's that old saying: you get what you pay for. Well, with a 300 2.8, you're paying what you get for. It's a high-end, high quality. Again, they're both high-end, high quality. But you're going to be able to blur out that background and have that super professional photograph. I mean, if you want to go to go to your state fair or some photography contest and really show them that you can do your stuff, this is going to be the high-end 2.8 is going to be the way you want to go. That's really the difference. They're both, to review, they're both good. We're talking about the difference between really professional and just your average 300 millimeter. So, and again, average for this lens isn't bad. So it's just how much do you really want to put into your Canon glass. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, if money was no object, obviously you buy the more expensive one to get some better pictures. But if you're on a budget or you just don't really need that high-end lens, then the 1500, 300 may be your choice. Now keep in mind, this is a fixed focal length. So there's no going from 100 to 300 or 300 to 5. It's one focal length. And that in and of itself may be something that you like, depending on it may be something you don't like. For me, I wouldn't like a fixed focal length. I like the multiple focal lengths, but it's fixed at 300, and the f-stop for both of these lenses are also fixed. So there's no adjusting. The only thing you can adjust on these lenses, and it's not even on the lens, and it has to do with the camera, is the shutter speed and the ISO. And those are both in camera. So the only thing you can adjust on this lens is focus, okay? So you want to keep that in mind. You can't, you're zoomed into one length, you've got one aperture, so those two controls are gone, okay? When you buy this lens, most lenses you can adjust your aperture, you can adjust your focal length. Those two controls are gone. The only control you have on this lens is the focus, okay? That focus ring is your only control. And again, your other controls are in your camera, and that's your ISO and your shutter speed, of course. So that's something to keep in mind. I personally have a 28 to 300, which I like, but because I can zoom in and zoom out. But this doesn't have this ability. This is one focal length. So you want to keep that in mind when you're looking at this lens. But again, if you know your subject's going to be within a certain range, you can, this may be the lens for you. It just depends on what you're doing and how you're going to use it, and how much you can afford, obviously. So again, I hope this video has been helpful and been insightful, give you a little insight into the differences between aperture and f-stop, and understanding how it works to blur out the background and how some lenses do it better than others. And till next time, I'm Canon EOS photographer for Randall and Rueff saying thanks for watching. Have a good day, and may God bless you. As always, keep shooting those pictures.